The class is on the spinal cord. The spinal cord, first you have to know what is the length of the spinal cord. The length of the spinal cord is about 45 centimeter in length, and it occupies, you can see in the figure here, it occupies the upper vertebral canal. So this is the what the structure you are looking here, it is the spinal cord. So the length of the spinal cord, it is about 45 centimeter in length and occupies the upper two-third of the vertebral canal. Then if we look into the extent of the spinal cord, from where to where the spinal cord will extend. The spinal cord extends from foramen magnum to the level of the lower border of the L1 lumbar vertebra. That is the extent of the spinal cord. The spinal cord extends from foramen magnum to the lower border of L1 lumbar vertebra. Then this is in the adult. Okay, if they ask you in the adult, it will end at the lower border of the first lumbar vertebra, whereas in the newborn, the cord terminates at the level of L3 lumbar vertebra. So then after that you have to know about the spinal nerves. Okay, the spinal cord will give rise to 31 pairs of the spinal nerve. So the there are how many? There are about 31 pairs of the spinal nerves are present. Then after that you should learn about see here it is given the spinal cord is continuous above with the medulla oblongata, and the lower you can see it forms a tapering end. You can see here the tapering end. You can see here the tapering end. The tapering end inferior, it is called as the conus medullaris. It is connected to the coccyx by a non-neuronal cord called as filum terminal. Here there will be a shiny like appearance that is called as a filum terminal. So remember, the lower tapering ends of the spinal cord is called as a conus medullaris. After that, if you look the spinal cord, the surface of the spinal cord is divided completely into two symmetrical halves by a fissure present here. That fissure is called as anterior median fissure, posterior median sulcus. Each half of the spinal cord further shows anterolateral and posterolateral sulci. So the anterolateral sulcus provide attachment to rootlets of ventral nerve roots of the spinal nerve, whereas the posterolateral sulcus provide attachment to rootlets of dorsal nerve root of spinal nerve. This is about the external features of the spinal cord. So remember, first thing about the length of the spinal cord. What is the length? From where to where the spinal cord will extend from foramen magnum to lower border of L1 vertebra in the adult. Then how many pairs of the spinal nerves will it gives. Okay. Next, coverings of the spinal cord, if you look, same like meninges. Okay, the spinal cord is surrounded by meninges. There are three meninges. The meninges are called as outer dura, middle arachnoid and the inner pia mater. So there are three coverings. The three coverings same as the brain. Even the spinal cord is covered by three meningeal layer. The three meningeal are dura mater, arachnoid mater and inner, you will see the pia mater. Then the space between dura and the arachnoid mater is called as subdural. Below the dura, so subdural space. The space between arachnoid and the pia is called as subarachnoid space. So this space is important. The subarachnoid space is important because this is filled by a fluid. That fluid is called as the cerebrospinal fluid. So remember, between arachnoid and the pia mater you see a space. That space is called as subarachnoid space, which is filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Next, see here the spinal cord, you can look, which will give rise to 31 pairs of the spinal nerve. So in the spinal cord, you see some enlargement in certain places. There are two enlargement, one at the lumbar region, so it is called lumbosacral enlargement, one at the cervical region, it is called cervical enlargement, which will give rise to cervical nerve, which will supply the upper limb, whereas the lumbosacral which will supply the lower limb. So see, the bundle of spinal nerve extending inferiorly form from lumbosacral enlargement and conus medullaris. You can see this is the tapering end is called conus medullaris. So I told about there are 31 pairs of spinal nerve. So where all you see? They are 8 in cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 1 coccygeus. Okay, so these are the nerves what you see. These are the spinal nerve. There are 8 in cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 1 coccygeal. You see the enlargement. One is called a cervical enlargement that will supply the upper limb. Lumbosacral enlargement supplies the lower limb. Okay, so these are the different names you have to know. What do you mean by ganglion? What do you mean by nucleus, nerve and tracts? Okay, what do you mean by ganglion? That is group of neuron outside the central nervous system. They are called as ganglion. What do you mean by nucleus? They are named differently. See here, group of neuron outside CNS is named a ganglion. Group of neuron within the central nervous system is called as nucleus. That you have told, nucleus and ganglion. So you have to know. Group of neuron outside the CNS, ganglion. Group of neuron within the CNS is called as nucleus. Next, axon. A group of nerve axon outside the CNS. Outside the CNS, they call it a nerve. Like you have heard about ulnar nerve, radial nerve, median nerve. They are all the nerve fibers you are seeing outside the CNS. Group of nerve fiber axon within the CNS, we call it as tracts. So remember how the words nerve is different, tract is different. So these are the terms of the names given. What do you mean by ganglion, nucleus, nerve and tract? Okay, next, what do you mean by spinal pyometer? See, spinal pyometer is thicker and less vascular than the cerebral pyometer. So there are some special features of spinal pyometer. What they is, they give rise to these structures. Okay, one is called as filum terminale, one is called a linus splendens, and one more is called a ligamentum denticulatum. These are all the modification of the pyometer. The pyometer will get modified forming filum terminale, linus splendens and ligamentum denticulatum. Okay, next we'll look into internal structure of the spinal cord. If you cut a section of the spinal cord, interior, what are the features you see? You can look here, the shape. Okay, so you see a cross section of spinal cord shows H shape, you can see here, H shaped, central, grey matter and peripheral white matter. So remember the central part, it is grey matter, and the peripheral part what you are looking, that is the white matter there. Each half, if you look the each half, okay, so here each half of the spinal cord, if you look this, each half of spinal cord, the grey matter is divisible into, if you see the grey matter, it is divisible in two parts. One is called as anterior horn and one more is called as a posterior horn. The posterior horn we call it as dorsal horn and the anterior horn we call it as ventral horn. Okay, so the grey matter of right and left half is connected across the midline by a grey commissure, which is traversed by a canal. That canal is called a central canal. This is the central canal. Then the next is about the white matter of the spinal cord. The white matter spinal cord on each half is divided into This is a part. This is called anterior, lateral, and posterior. They are called as anterior, lateral, and posterior columns. Otherwise, we call it as funiculus, which has the tracts present in it. The tracts are called as ascending tract and descending tract. So, the tract, whatever the tract you see, they are all present in the white column of the spinal cord. Okay. Then the gray matter. The gray matter shows the following types of neuron. There are two types of neuron. If you one is called motor neuron, then one more is called interneuron. Then the white matter spinal cord is made up of nerve fiber with supporting cell. The group of nerve fibers, are termed as tracts, which include there are tracts. There are two, descending tracts and ascending tracts. So the descending and the ascending tract you see in the white column of the spinal cord. The white matter is divided into three columns. They are anterior, lateral, and anterior horn. So in this, the internal structure of the spinal cord. So remember two part there. One is the gray part, one is the white part. The gray, again you see the canal called as central canal. This part is called as ventral horn, otherwise called anterior horn. Posterior horn, otherwise called as dorsal horn. Then the white matter of the spinal cord, here in it is again the parts are called as they are called as funiculus, anterior or ventral funiculus, lateral, and the posterior funiculus. In this part you see the tracts. So the tracts are called as ascending tracts and descending tracts. Okay, next you have to practice this diagram to learn about the tracts present in the spinal cord. So the tracts in the left side you see they are all descending tract, right side you see they are all ascending tract. So the left side tract, if I start, see first the diagram you have to draw, like first you draw the spinal cord, the gray matter, the shape. Okay, next you draw, this is the way how to draw. After that, you draw the tract. First, on the one side, you draw all the names of the descending tract, and one side you draw the tract of ascending tract. So start. First one, lateral corticospinal tract, location wise. Okay. Next one, here, anterior median fissure, close to you see the tract, that is called anterior corticospinal tract. Okay. After that, you have to draw the next tract. You can see here, that is called tectospinal tract, rubrospinal tract, anterior and the lateral vestibulospinal tract, olivospinal tract, rubrospinal tract, and here you can see medial longitudinal fasciculus. So practice the diagram and learn the tracts present there. The important tracts to be remembered here, descending motor tract is pyramidal tract, that is a corticospinal tract in that two, anterior and the lateral corticospinal tract. Okay. Then extrapyramidal tract, rubrospinal tract, tectospinal tract, vestibulospinal tract, olivospinal tract, and reticulospinal tract. So practice with the diagram and learn the descending tract. Okay. So I'll again corticospinal tract to anterior and the lateral. Then extrapyramidal tract, rubrospinal tract, then the tectospinal tract, vestibulospinal tract, olivospinal tract, and reticulospinal tract. Okay, so practice and learn the tract. Once the next, on the next side you are seeing the ascending tract. So ascending tract, if I tell you first one here, fasciculus gracialis, fasciculus cuneatus, then this one. Okay, ventral and dorsal spinocerebellar tract, then lateral spinocerebellar tract, spino-olivary, spinotectal, and anterior spinothalamic tract. All these are ascending tracts. One on the descending tract, one is ascending. Descending tract means from the cerebrum it is going into the spinal cord. So they are all descending tract. One ascending from spinal cord to brain. They called as ascending tracts. See here, the tract, descending tract. Okay, these are descending tract. Corticospinal, reticulospinal, tectospinal, rubrospinal, vestibulospinal. Ascending tract, lateral spinothalamic, anterior spinothalamic, fasciculus grazalis and cuneatus, anterior and posterior spinocerebellar, spinotectal, spinoreticular and spino-olivary tract. Next, blood supply to the spinal cord. The blood supply to the spinal cord comes from the artery called as the vertebral artery. The vertebral artery will give rise to branches called anterior and the posterior spinal artery. So the anterior spinal artery will run in anterior median fissure, whereas the two posterior spinal artery along the attachment to the dorsal nerve root. Then there are minute branches, you can see here. They are called as radicular artery, arises from spinal branches of vertebral artery, ascending cervical artery, posterior intercostal arteries and lumbar artery. So the arteries blood supply to spinal cord will come from the vertebral arteries. Okay, next about the applied importance of it called as a lumbar puncture. The lumbar puncture is usually performed at the level below the level of L1 vertebra. Why? Because the spinal cord it ends at the lower border of L1 vertebra. So what do you mean by lumbar puncture? It is a procedure in which the spinal cistern is approached for aspiration of cerebrospinal fluid. You can see the needle passing through it. Cerebrospinal fluid. It is usually performed between L3 and L4 spine, since this part of vertebral canal is not occupied by the spinal cord. You know where the spinal cord ends. The spinal cord ends at the lower border of L1 vertebra. So below that they do it at the level of L3 and L4. They pierce the needle to for the withdrawal of CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. This is called as a lumbar puncture. Okay, this is the extent of the levels of the injury and the extreme paralysis. See, what will happen if there is an injury in or any of the road accident, or you have heard about if there is a cervical injury, what will happen? He will quadriplegic. If there is a thoracic injury, again he will be quadriplegic. Then at the level of thoracic, it is para. You can see his upper limb are there escape, whereas below that it is paraplegic. Then sacral and this it is even paraplegic. Okay, these are the levels of the injury, what will be happening to the case. Okay. Just a summary, what we have learned here is first, what is the length of the spinal cord, till what is the extent of the spinal cord, that is from foramen magnum to lower border of L1 vertebra. Then we have to know how many pairs of spinal nerves are there. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves are present. After that, we have looked into the internal structure of spinal cord. We have looked into grey matter and the white matter. Then we have looked in the white matter, there are presence of the tract. So the tracts are called ascending tract and descending tract. So to learn the tract, what are the names of the descending tract with the diagram, and ascending tract also with the diagram. About this thing you have to know. Next we have looked about the puncture called as a lumbar puncture. Okay, this is about the today's class. We have discussed on the spinal cord. Thank you.